Thanks for viewing the In Between series, the show where young folks discuss the space between their dreams and their reality. We're so excited. This is our very first episode. I have some extremely dope people with us. So to my left is B. Nikki.
How y'all doing?
We have Frankie.
What's up, y'all?
To my right is Lo.
What's good?
Nayanel.
Hey.
And Deja.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about where we are in life and what's happening and how we're getting through it, how we're processing it, and where we plan on going. So what's going on with y'all?
Well, right now I'm currently a music artist, choir director, and photography videographer.
Okay, that's
so doing a lot. It's kind of balancing that musical world with the artistic world. So I'm just trying to, grow my own music while working with choirs that I direct both in churches and at BCU, and trying to grow my business and take it to the next level.
Okay. Busy
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I think we all can attest to trying to grow our business.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of us are fresh out of college. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So all of us, right? Pretty much.
Right.
I'm 1 year out.
Something like that.
He's like, come.
Same.
Yeah, so I get you, Naya,
Yeah.
Trying to grow a business. I personally have a job, trying to do working full time, trying to do grad school, and still maintaining my creativity. That could be kind of.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
Just balancing the professional 9 to 5, but also your creative endeavors and making sure you're giving life to both of those things.
Yes, it's hard, y'all. It's really.
Bills are real. Bills do exist, whether we want them to or not.
Exactly.
Bills don't stop.
Yeah, same. I'm definitely in the same boat. I worked a 9 to 5 life too. I'm currently working as a social media coordinator for a national nonprofit, awesome organization. But in addition to that, I'm also running my own brand, Naturally Be Nikki.
Not to know her.
Yeah.
Know her.
I got my own website, naturallybenikki.com, and it revolves around entertainment, news, and pop culture commentary, and that's where my passion lies. So I'm with y'all. I'm just looking to take that to the next level. Whether I'm working for a big major media brand or making my brand, doing it myself. Either way. So that's where I'm at.
I think it's cool, Nikki, because I see the connection between your current job and what you want to do in your life. Do y'all feel like there's a connection from your current space now and what you do? Or
for me, absolutely. Because I am doing what I want to do. Ultimately, I'm in, I guess you would say, beginning stages, learning stages, growing transitional phases of it.
And what is it?
I was going to go last because I don't work. I don't have a job.
Okay. Your business is a job.
It is.
You get paid. Well, I don't have a conventional job.
You don't have a traditional.
You get paid.
I write my own checks. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I run a platform called Everyday Dope Life. And it started off as just an idea from blogging because that's what I did in college. I blogged and I freelanced with that, so I didn't have to work. But it got me to a point where I could create my own platform because now I have a network and an audience and things like that. So I create content. I have a festival we're putting together at the end of the month.
When is it?
It's called EDF Fest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hip hop carnival.
What day is it?
August 27th.
What area? Norfolk, the 757? I'm in there. That's dope, Naya. So what does it take to get there? Because we're still, I think, for myself personally, I'm still in the process of how much energy do I have? Figuring that out, and also trying to figure out am I being responsible? Am I, taking care of responsibilities still?
There's definitely no blueprint. There's no blueprint. You have to make your mistakes. You have to learn. You have to go through all these things. We just talked about that off camera, so you can have that story to tell and things to go off of what you're doing later. Working with you guys are doing. You have to do that. Like I said, bills are real. They exist.
Student loans.
Me personally,
Salary.
I have a budget. I stick to my budget.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm able to go outside of it and do travel. I like to travel a lot. So that's my vice with what I'm trying to do and maintaining my real life as well. But I just think it kind of goes into how you set things up for yourself. The responsibility, like you said, that's very important. Knowing, what you have to do, what you want to do, and the balance in between that. Being a creative, though, through all of this, it's trial and error. Honestly, it's really there's no blueprint to it.
It is.
How much you want it, how much you're willing to put in for it. You know, it's all about that work. Put in that work.
Yeah. So are you up all night? Like, where do you find the time?
When I first started, I was definitely losing a lot of sleep, not sleeping. Now,
what is sleep? Honestly, what is sleep?
First of all, in college period, what is sleep?
Exactly.
I thought that once I graduated that I was gonna maybe possibly get just a little bit more, but that's just not. That's not how my personal.
The gag is, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
I also thought for some strange reason that deadlines were like, it just disappeared after college.
Nope.
When I get that email at work and they be like, hard deadline, need this now.
It's just the beginning.
Exactly.
You set deadlines for yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's
true.
important.
That's
Like, when other people assign it for you, it's easy because you're like, okay, they're expecting this.
Yeah.
Somebody in particular is looking forward to whatever I'm producing. But when it's your own schedule and your own creative passions, like you have to say, I want to get this out by the end of the month. Why am I not where I said I was going to be? So it's
And being a creative, discipline is so important. You have to set those deadlines for yourself. Absolutely.
That's very true. And when people start knowing you for that, there's like this expectation, like, you know, when you gonna be out? Like, I ain't see you out, you know, doing your thing lately. You know what I mean? Like, do you get that?
Didn't you say that you had some
Right.
drama?
I know. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, for me, I don't know. It's always a constant motion. So things are always dropping. So we always
You're at that
work.
point.
Yeah, putting dates on the calendar. It's getting to the point where it's like years out now.
Okay.
So those are more the conversations that I'm having now.
Gotcha.
Versus when we were, you know, now and the point that we're at now is when we started, it's pretty much like we just want to do the work, keep our head down, do the work. And now what my camp is doing, what my fam is doing is like now we're like finally picking our heads up.
Yeah.
Because people are actually paying attention now, and they
what-
see
what
that
y'all
we're working, and they're
doing?
waiting on products. So for the past, we're coming up on 2 years of everything now. So we just been fine tuning the product and packaging it, and make sure everything is efficient, it's disciplined, and everything makes sense, and everything
What's
connects.
the product?
Yeah. What you putting out there?
It's a couple things. So
It's a couple.
we got Collect Worldwide. That's we have Collect Worldwide. And we have Collect Saturday. So Collect is pretty much like a lifestyle entity brand that you can just mold. It's pretty much a mantra. Like you collect on everything. Everybody has something they want to do.
Gotcha.
And when we started out, our tagline was sacrifice, build, collect. So it's pretty much sacrificing what has to be sacrificed. You know, time away, time to yourself. And building what you believe has to get done, and then collecting on what you started back then. So that's what that is. So
I like that word sacrifice because I'm trying to figure out what needs to be sacrificed, who needs to be sacrificed. Like, that's also a constant struggle. Because I mean, of course, I'm happy. I'm not saying like that's obvious, but I am happy with where I am in life. You know, just thinking about where I could be and where honestly I was most likely to be, and I'm not. So you know, I'm thankful. Okay, I'm working up to something. You know, but everyone has dreams and everyone has something that they want to accomplish and they set out for themselves. So how do you know, like, when you're sacrificing what needs to be sacrificing or when you're sacrificing too much for yourself?
I think that for me personally, it's kind of like how much passion do you have for what you're doing, and let that drive you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Because for me, like I went to VCU, right? But when I came into VCU, I was in forensic biology. And that's because it was a comfort thing. My mom worked at university, you know, I was around science all my life. But I had a passion for music, but it was that kind of like, I need to be secure, I need money, I need stuff like that. And I went 3.5 years in school doing something that didn't make me happy. And that constant struggle I had was just like, you know, I'm not happy, but it'll be worth it when I get this check or whatever. And I became so unhappy that the money didn't matter to me anymore. It was about the quality of my life that I was going to be living. So my passion for what I wanted outweighed the financial gain of something that I didn't want to do. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to change my major. And I changed it my senior year. And, you know, people said I was crazy, like, you know, you've been to school for all that money and all that kind of stuff. But when I looked at the longevity of it and in the course of my life, in the grand scheme of life, you know, those 3.5 years I spent was a lesson for me learning where I wanted to go. So I was like, you know, I'm going to change my major. I'm going to be a music educator. I'm going to do this music thing. And I have not looked back since. And the opportunities that I've been afforded because I decided to just take that leap of faith Because sometimes it's really a leap of faith. You don't have that solid answer. This is gonna work out, but you know that's what faith is. And when you have faith, you also can't have fear. Faith and fear can't live in the same space. Yes. So when I took that leap of faith, God worked it out. And everything that I've done from then has been enhanced because that drive that I had for what I wanted to do was able to push me past, you know, the struggles, push me past the late nights where you don't know how you're going to pay your bills, you know, you don't know what's going on, or things didn't work out the way you thought they were. It's that faith and like that passion about what you're doing is going to push you to make those things happen. Because if you really want to do something, honestly, you're going to get it done. Yeah. And that's just how it works.
We were talking about that.
To answer your question, sorry.
No, go ahead.
For like the sacrifices, I think personally, like the way you can determine it is if you feel like you're betraying yourself.
Okay.
So yes, you have to sacrifice. Yes, you have to stay up late. Yes, you have to work hard to attain what you want. But the moment where you feel like you're betraying yourself, you're not living in your truth, then that's not for you. Yeah. That's not your purpose. There's another route. There's another way. So
I also think about like being uncomfortable, being drained. You know, like, when I feel like this is completely draining me, then clearly, like you said, it's not for me. Yeah. Like, something's not right with the situation. I need to go back and evaluate what I'm doing. But if I'm uncomfortable, that's taking that leap of faith.
Uncomfortability will push you. It will. You know, and I think that when you're doing something and when you're trying to grow, you can't always grow. You can't grow in a space of comfort. You have to be uncomfortable because that is going to push you to, you know, being able to be the best you can be. So I would say if you find yourself being too comfortable, you might need to check yourself.
Yes,
and push yourself further.
Yeah. So. Check the people around you.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Yes, changing your circle, change it to be around people who push you, people who understand your light and don't try to diminish it, people that see your vision, but they don't have to see it as perfect as you. But if I come up, which I did, if I be like, y'all, I'm thinking of this dope thing and have it, and I can clearly see it, it can clearly happen because we're here today.
I even like when people don't like it and they're like, that's
exactly
crazy.
Thank you.
Yes, wow, man, not dope, blah, blah, blah.
That kind of pushes you harder sometimes too.
If all you have is yes men and yes women in your circle, like you're not gonna grow. Oh, that's great, and that idea is trash. And they know it's trash, but they want to be stay your good side. No, don't let me. You're hurting me by not being honest with me.
Or you make it so good that even if they thought it was trash, like the way you pulled it off. I'm talking about even the smaller stuff. My hairstyles, my sister is always like, don't do it. Like that's not my sister. You just wait.
But let me show you. Yeah, I feel you.
And Sarge, I was gonna say, like, since I got y'all with me, I wanted to throw this out there. I feel like right now I'm in a comfortable or an uncomfortable position right now. So what I mean,
like in here,
in terms of like my life right now. So I mentioned, you know, I'm working full time. You know, the 9-to-5 life, and then I'm running my own brain. You know, as soon as I get home, so I get home around 5:30. It's a whole nother job. It's the second job, and you know, and really diving into my passion. So that's what kind of, it's comfortable in terms of the full time. I had that consistent salary. I had that, you know, I had that stability. Yes. But it's uncomfortable in the fact that, you know, I really would love to focus on my passion full time and really dedicate all my energy that I'm pouring into somebody else's vision into mine. So like while I got y'all here, like I wanted to run it by y'all. What do y'all think in terms of people who are on the fence, like they're in that comfortable, uncomfortable situation? Because honestly, y'all, I personally feel that everybody...
I'm listening to what she's saying. I feel
that everybody is not mentioning.
I really take into account that we're super young. You know, we're really young, and these are the times that you should be feeling like this and having these type of thoughts and going back and forth with yourself and figure out what you're going to do next. Okay. You have that job because
low over here life.
We can't be a part of that conversation because we work for ourselves. As far as I always tell people,
but I have worked for someone, and I recall I just tried to have a little job for like literally a month. I had a job for a month. I worked at H&M and I quit. I couldn't do it because I'm not used to that lifestyle anymore. But I had plans. That's why I got that job to begin with. I had plans for things I want to do in the future. So now I got to figure that part out. But you're like really invested into that. These are the things that's going to help the plans that you have for the future and keep you stable. You know. It's not a bad thing.
Timing, I think everything has a season. So like just because you do that now, that doesn't mean you're gonna do that forever. And like she said, you can have a goal, you can have a plan. Like I graduated with 2 degrees, one in business management, one in civil engineering. I did not work in that. I worked for a stylist in LA because I was like, I'm stressed. That's not going to fulfill me right now. That's always going to be there. The option is always there. Like, you don't have to follow any plan that anyone else has set for you. So if you want to leave and try your own thing for a year, it doesn't work out, you can get another job. You can go back. It's not the end of the world.
That's the thing with the social media world we're living in, because it makes you feel like you should be somewhere else because someone else that you know you look up to is in that place. Your journey and your path is your own. Like, I can't stress that, you know.
And you gotta, and I can relate to that in a sense now because I don't work for anybody. I don't have a 9 to 5 right now. I used to work at a school. I was a board at school. I love my job. The core program the arts kind of art has fallen off, and I wasn't able to continue my job because there wasn't the funds, there wasn't the student numbers. So I was like in a position where I wasn't gonna have a job. But honestly, exactly. I think that what I learned also was that sometimes you gotta pay attention to the signs that are happening around you. You know, if you are a faith person, or even if you're just like an energy or spiritual person, you know, sometimes things happen to bring your attention to what you should be doing. And I remember thinking that, you know, I wanted to work with myself. I wanted to, you know, work with people, be a vocal coach, you know, make my own music, take my business and travel with my photography and videography. I saw that happening for me, but you know, I wasn't saying I was tied down to certain opportunities I couldn't do because of the job that I had. And you know, but I was like, I'm gonna stick it out, this was consistent money, and then it turned out that, you know, I didn't have that job. But when I found out that news, I wasn't sad, because to me that was confirmation that like, this is your time. God was like, oh, you've been struggling, now here's your chance, what you gonna do with it? So I think that, you know, if you are kind of going back in between, you know, pray about it, think about it, and if you get a feeling or a sign or opportunity, don't question it. You know, if something comes up, you're like, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna do it, and just trust that happened for a reason, that everything will work out. Make sure you got a plan though, don't just, you know, jump into something.
Plan is take the jump. So that, like, you're smart, you have your resume filled out, like, if you do your own thing for 6 months, it doesn't work, you can get another job.
And see, that's what I was getting at too, because I think freelancing and being an entrepreneur, realistically, I don't think it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. So I definitely did want to explore with y'all, like, what it takes to, you know, successfully, you know, I know we're still in that in-between phase, but really pinpointing what it takes to do it, because it's not for everybody. Everybody says, you know, work for yourself, but it's easy to say.
So my question for y'all.
Okay with failing. Like,
my question for y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So before we read our letter from one of our you know, viewers, my question for y'all is, what is one thing in one word, something that you are willing to sacrifice for your vision, for your dream? In one word, and I'm gonna start with Frankie.
That takes thought.
Wow.
One word.
You caught me here.
One adjective.
One adjective. I think that.
One noun.
I think that I'm willing to sacrifice. I know we talked about it before. Just comfortability. I think for me, because I get so caught up in like things that are comfortable for me, but I know that to go where I want to go, but I'm really gonna have to take myself out of my comfort zone, and I think that that's one thing that I have to be willing to sacrifice, and I will.
Okay.
I will be.
Nikki.
Oh goodness.
In one word.
I would have to say comfortability as well.
Okay. Something that I can sacrifice, I would have to say, is time. Lo?
I would have to say myself, for real.
Oh, he's all in.
No, I'm all in.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm not playing no games. Like,
is that real?
Serious,
Yeah.
No, I would say my youth. I'm willing to sacrifice my youth.
Oh, wow. Okay. David?
I would say security.
Okay. Well, we have someone who wants wants a little opinion from us. So they sent in this letter, and it is subject in between unemployed and desperate. Yes.
Oh no.
Some of us ain't gonna say it, but we on the brink of it right
We
now.
She says, and I'm not going to disclose any names. Hey y'all, I just recently graduated in May, and unfortunately I'm still looking for a full-time job. I've recently come up with an unpaid internship for 5 months with a very successful company in my field, but the only problem is it's unpaid. Like, that wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't so far from where I live. I would need to take this train and from 4 days a week, and the train pass is $300 to $400. Okay, another yikes. If I take this internship, I need to find a weekend job that pays for me enough to cover for the month-to-month train pass. I mean, I know a job is necessary, but damn, do I have to work myself like a dog in return for the experience? I'm just stuck. I know it's my future, but I feel uncomfortable spending so much money on an internship that may not even offer a full-time position once it's over. Should I just go for it?
You need to ask her the same question you just asked us.
What is she sacrifice? Because it sounds like she's gonna have to sacrifice her money and definitely her time. Because
I think so. I think she should do it. She has no kids. Well, okay. I'm assuming here.
She
I'm assuming she's unmarried. I'm assuming she has no kids. So if you're gonna take the risk, you might as well take it now. I mean, like I just shared, that's something I did. I worked for Stylist and I worked at J. Crew because that's something I wanted to do. I knew sometimes once you fall into a routine, once you experience having more money, it's hard to leave that to follow your passion.
Security.
Exactly. And keeping up that lifestyle or whatever. But if you're gonna take a risk and a chance, you should do when you're young.
Yeah.
While you have time.
But so you say you would risk it all. So should she risk it all?
Honestly, you can't replace experience, honestly. And 5 months can fly by like
that's
that.
True.
So
in the grand scheme of things,
So
if it doesn't work out, she can literally.
And I'll say go into it, and I wouldn't say go into it thinking you could stick with the company. I say go into it and take everything you can. You never know who you can meet.
This debate was actually just held on social media between a mass of real journalists and people that write for these platforms. Unpaid internships versus the paid ones, and should you take them? And I didn't engage in that because that was a real massive conversation. But a lot of people do believe that you should, and these are people that did that, got through the process, and worked for these companies that we're interested in right now. Experience is what you're looking for.
I'm conflicted because I do feel like unpaid internships are for the privileged. I don't believe low income people, underrepresented people were thought of. It's hard.
It's already hard. Exactly.
It's already hard to support yourself and try to fend for yourself. Yeah. Then you're gonna spend most of your time here and you're not getting any money for it. Right. But I mean, I guess it could pay off in the future. But I do think sometimes it's not worth it. In her case, if it's the job if it's a career and it's a really major company that she really believes can set her up for the future, I mean, you don't need all the certainty, but you just need to know that you're not in it just to be put it on your resume and never get seen.
It makes me think about the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that's what it seems like. Yeah. And it's not that she has a time limit on it. Yeah. So it's not just work for us unpaid, maybe we'll figure something out. Yeah. So she has to hustle within those 5 months.
And make her
to make sure she's known and has something at the end to make all that worth it.
And that's what stuck out most to me was a very successful company in my field. So it sounds like this company this could be a potentially life-changing opportunity. So you gotta grind it out. If I was her, I would take it.
And ask them can I grow? Can I grow from this?
You never know.
People don't get what they want because they don't ask for pay.
That's what about it. But
that's who said that.
You never know.
Who said that? Everybody said that.
But I think that for me personally, I think we talk about how planning is everything and having a plan.
Yeah.
That
sounds like a plan.
If it's a good opportunity and you have the time, you young and you have something. She said it was her dad's temp company.
Well, no,
that's the other option.
I'm saying the other option is her dad's.
So that's comfortable.
Exactly. So that will work. That will always, maybe not always be there, but that's something that you'll have.
Yeah.
So this opportunity may or may not come up again. If you say no now, not saying that it won't come up, but taking that leap of faith and having people in your corner. If you have the support of your dad and your family, let them know, hey, I really want to do these things, but this is what it's going to take. I'm going to grind it out. Can you help me? I think a lot of people get so prideful that they don't want to ask for help. And you never know who can help you out. So don't squander your dreams when you have the resources and people to help you achieve them.
So. Okay, well, I think, girl, go for it.
Do it.
Take a shot.
Well, that was the end of this conversation. I want to thank everyone that is at this table today. Yes, it was get the grind, sacrifice what you want to sacrifice to get where you gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you for build and collect. Yeah. Give it, like my man Lo said, give it your all. He's willing to give it his all. Peace, y'all.